Weekly, brought to you by Solarian Games. I'm Jason, one of the partners of Solarian Games, and my partner Peter cannot be here tonight because he is having a wonderful time out in Utah. And so we have a great guest host for you tonight. Say hello.
Hello, everyone. Hi, I'm Kevin Borrup. I'm the co-host of Analytic Dice and a good friend to Solarian Games. So happy to be here, and I'm sure I can sub in a little bit, but I certainly can't replace Peter. He's a powerhouse on here.
All right. Well, it's so good to have you. All right. And I see the chat is working. I'm driving this thing tonight. Peter usually does. So anything that goes wrong is all Peter's fault for leaving me in charge. Usually we share images and stuff like that. I got all flummoxed by technology. So we're just going to describe stuff to you. All right. So we've got some stories tonight. We have Thundercats RPG is on the way. Mac Attack, a sci-fi engine breaker. D&D's October product has been revealed to be a Stranger Things tie-in. Warhammer The Old World RPG, set 100 years before the events of Warhammer RPG. And Open-Ended Games begins playtesting against the Star Master. Not the Stairmaster, the Star Master.
That's right.
All right, so let's jump in first to the Thundercats RPG. So this was announced at the San Diego Comic-Con by Dynamite Entertainment and Linvander Studios. So that's Dynamite Entertainment is a comics publisher, and they've actually had the license to do comics of Thundercats for a couple years now. And Linvander is a RPG design, board game, mostly designer, and RPG with a lot of licensing history. So a good team to do it. So this is going to be coming out. Gosh, I had a date on it somewhere. I don't know. Sometime soon. Anyway, this is confirmed that this will be powered by 5th edition. So it's not an official, it's not related to Wizards in any way, but it is going to be using 5e mechanics. So good way for folks to jump into it, you know, if they have only played D&D before. So, okay, for anybody who is not familiar with the Thundercats, or maybe mixes up Thundercats with Thundar the Barbarian, which I did before I looked at this, Thundercats is one of those 1980s Saturday morning cartoons that there were so many, from Transformers to He-Man to Thundar to everything else. It is not the post-apocalyptic one, though. Thundercats, see, I'm already doing it wrong, ran originally from 1985 to 1989. Kevin, did you watch it?
I did. I remember it well.
So you were a fan?
Back in the day, sure, yeah.
You liked, hold on, I have to get to the characters here in just a second. I'm going to give a little background because I saw it, but I don't really remember it very well, right? I'm sure I saw it. So the Thundercats are an alien race of tabaxi, basically, right? They're cat-like humanoids, and they're from the planet Thundera. Thundercats are from Thundera. The planet was harmonious and peaceful, but it was destroyed when the sword of Plundar, that's Plun-Darr, was cast into the deepest canyon on the planet's surface by Jaga. He's a jaguar. And fell into the molten core of Thundera. And Plundar is the planet of the mutants. So the Thundercats escaped to the third Earth. And on the trip, Jaga, the jaguar guy, piloted the ship while everybody else slept in suspended animation. It was too far of a trip. The mutants were out to get them. They had to reroute themselves, and instead they went for this place called Third Earth. I don't know why it's the third. And on the way, because it was such a long trip, Jaga had to stay awake while the rest of them were in suspended animation. So he aged and he died. He was Moses. He never reached the promised land. And the rest of them in suspended animation, Lion-O, here we go, Cheetara, Panthro, Tigra, and now we've run out of cat words, Wily Kit and Wily Cat, and Snarf.
Right.
No relation to Snarf Quest, unfortunately. I was hoping. So then after 10 Galacto years, They awake, but Lion-O discovers that his body has matured, although his mind hasn't. So he's kind of a child in the body of an adult. And now you have the mutants, the Plundar, working with Mum-Ra. No prize. Mum-Ra's a mummy. Are trying to acquire the Eye of Thundera, and it's hidden in this hilt of the Sword of Omens. And I'm already lost. How about that?
You know, it was very fun to hear you describe a show that you're not a big fan of. It was fun. It was fun. Yeah. I mean, Lino and Panthro and all the folks. I mean, for those who watched Thunder the Barbarian, now you got me doing it, watching, Thundercats, just, a fun show in its time. It also had a couple of other seasons on Cartoon Network or something back in 2011 and 2020. So a little redo on it too.
Yeah, it's an interesting history there because it was another Saturday morning cartoon, and I will say that the animation was pretty decent for a Saturday morning cartoon.
Sure.
I've seen some real dogs from that era, and this one's better than some. But then in 2011, it got picked up. I think you said it was Cartoon Network.
Yeah, I think so.
Maybe. Well, actually, I wrote it down.
I might be wrong.
So they got picked up a couple of times. So first they got picked up. Yeah, each time it was Cartoon Network. In 2011, they redid it, and I think they did a really good job. I went back and watched some of those. It was very anime style. The show had always been animated in Japan, even the first one. But for the 2011 one, they leaned into it. They leaned into the Japanese style a lot more. Very high quality stuff. And then I remember this now, in 2020, Cartoon Network brought it back a third time, but they really upset a lot of people. Do you remember that?
I did not see the 2021.
So because we're not showing images, because Jason can't handle computers, I can't show, but it was wildly different. It was drawn in a very kind of crude, funny cartoon. It was very lighthearted. It was really... It was kind of making fun of itself, or not even making fun of itself. It was almost like a parody of Thundercats. And it upset a lot of people because it really had nothing to do with the original. It was like an indie comic. In fact, the image that you have behind you on your screen is kind of similar to the style they did. Very that sort of thing. So that got canceled after like a season. People didn't want it. They didn't want... People tuned in to watch the nostalgia. They were upset that they tried to do something new. And so, but then they also had comic books. I don't know if you ever read those.
I did not.
No, me neither. But apparently the comic books all over the place too. So they went through Marvel for 24 issues, and then Marvel UK for another 129 issues. And then DC got it in 2002. So I don't know how many comics have been in both Marvel and DC. Can't be a big number, I don't think, right?
I don't know. Yeah.
I see Peter's in the chat, actually. He knows more than me. He's probably yelling at me right now. But so then finally, Dynamite picked up the license in 2023. So they've had it for about 2 years now. And I don't know who initiated the RPG, but they partnered up with Lynn Vander. And Lynn Vander, they do licensed board games. So they do things like Star Trek Alliance, Evil Dead 2, Buffy the Vampire Slayer, these are board games. So there's no relation to the Eden Studios, Buffy the Vampire Slayer, TTRPG. So it's a good team. And it says here that it's going to be a 250-page rule book covering Thundercats lore. So
yeah.
I don't know how many cat-related puns they're going to be able to come up with, but I mean, in the chat, I see people I'm seeing some lyrics from the Thundercat song, and people like the Thundercats, so this is good. But yeah, Lion-O, Chitara, Tigra, Panthro, Pumira, Bobcato, and Lynxium, and I don't know. I'm making up names now.
Well, maybe that'll be the promise of the RPG, right? To create your own cat-themed Thundercat, a unique Thundercat.
Well, that is, so it says here you can build your own heroes to join the Thundercats, or you can play one of the main characters from the cartoon. So a lot of place there. I mean, you have had some experience in licensed property TTRPGs with the Smurfs.
That's right.
And in your Smurfs game, can people come up with their own Smurfs as part of it?
Absolutely.
Yeah,
Yeah. So, I
what?
mean, usually your
Abso
approach
what?
to a
Excuse
game
me,
like
Kevin,
this,
abso what?
Smurfly. Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you.
Sorry about that. Yeah. If your approach to a licensed property like this, I mean, it would be, of course, to have the characters that everyone loves statted out so people can play those if they want to, while at the same time giving people the freedom within that world to create something new. So yeah, that's what I would do, and I'm sure they're doing that.
Yeah, and already Brian in the chat has come up with a name for a character. The second name is BAWKS, so it's Litter Box. So there you go. I'm totally into that.
He must be one of the mutants.
Yes, Sir Goldthwait. Yeah, we're seeing some good chat names in here.
Yeah.
So yeah, hey, Thundercats RPG on the way. It's crazy though, just to talk about licensed games for a second like this, because there have been a lot, and some do better than others, right?
Sure.
We've seen, well, Margaret Weiss Studios has always been really good at that. And who's the is Evil Hat the ones that love to do it, or is it, I forget. Well, anyways, there's a lot of them out there, but the one that I thought was kind of neat. Do you remember a few years ago when Wendy's made their own RPG?
I do remember that. Yeah, absolutely. They gave it out for free.
Yes,
the Wendy's RPG, the feast of something or other. I can't remember.
Did they ever do a print copy of it?
I didn't see a print copy, but I saw the PDF.
Maybe I could get. Yeah. I have the PDF. Maybe I could get it on Lulu or something. But I noticed that up in this weekend was EggCon 2, I believe. Gary Gygax EggCon, because
right, yeah,
because Gary Con is held annually. It started as Gary's Wake, and so it's that time of year. And EggCon is held for his birthday in Lake Geneva. So that was just going on. And Harold Johnson, one of the original TSR folks, anybody who's hung around that scene is definitely going to know Harold Johnson. But he this year ran the Wendy's RPG to close out EggCon.
Yeah, so it's the Feast of Legends.
Okay.
Wendy's presents Feast of Legends, Rise from the Deep Freeze.
That's actually really good.
Yeah.
Yeah, I say they look good. He was wearing, Harold had some sort of themed outfit on for it, and they had lots of Wendy's paraphernalia around. So I can't wait to find out how that game went. Not that it's related to Thundercats, but Thundercat Lion-O does look a little bit like Wendy.
Well, when I think about licensed IP, Modifius has done a
They're
bunch
the
of,
ones, yes.
Whether it's Dune or Conan or Star Trek, all of that licensed RPGs, and most recently, kind of what I'm waiting for is Space 1999 for the physical copy of that to come around. But there's definitely a place for it, with everyone looking for, I guess, the nostalgia from their childhood for some of these worlds. So pretty exciting to see that kind of thing come out, and there are plenty of fans out there of the Thundercats who will pick it up. And maybe there are some folks who will discover it for the first time, like you, Jason.
I say, I actually thought that the 2011 cartoon was better. I know that's probably sacrilege to people who grew up with the first one, but I might go back and watch that and at least check out this RPG.
Well, Jason, as long as I can play a Robear, I'll be happy.
Robear. All right, I don't get that one. Is that what Snarf is?
No.
Okay. I think I would just want to play Snarf. Okay, so let's see. We got you got the next story. You want to tell us what's up?
Sure. Let's see. What are we talking about? Mac Attack?
Yes, Mac
Attack. All right. So, right now what's interesting is out there are a bunch of different crowdfunders going on for mecha miniature war games, and Mac Attack Mobile Armor Colossus is one of those right now that's up on BackerKit, and it's got 18 days left on BackerKit to go. And what this is a miniature war game. Okay.
What do you mean by miniature war game?
Well, it's on a
mobile mecha mini.
Well, it's on a map, right? Yeah. And you have your hexes, and you get some mechs supported by infantry or tanks or other things, and you play to win on that board. So that's what it is. These are, I think, 6 millimeter? I'd have to look at
so
what
when
the
you say
sizes
mini,
are.
you're talking about miniature scale.
Yeah, they're little mini mechs that you place on your map and advance them along. The quick start, you can grab the quick start now, actually.
Okay, yeah, because my first question was how it differs from like a BattleTech or something.
Yeah, right. So, BattleTech is probably one of the most well-known mech games. This, I think BattleTech right now, of course, it has an RPG component to it, as well as, you can use certainly with BattleTech, and there are plenty of minis for it to use and go across the board. I think Mac Attack is purely a tabletop war game. I don't think it has an RPG component to it. And not only is there Mac Attack right now, but if you're a fan of mechs and tabletop war games, there are a couple of other ones out there as well. You have on Kickstarter, you have something called Exoterra, the giant mech campaign you've been waiting for.
I have been waiting for it, have I?
And that has like 25 days to go. And it is also a mech kind of game. It's more of a board game than Mac Attack. And if you're into a miniature war game, probably Mac Attack's the way to go. If you're into more of a board game treatment of mechs, then you can go with something like that Exoterra game. And then in addition, you've got Modifius that we mentioned working on Hard War, which is a miniature game as well, which has 3 days left to go. So
I'm confused. This isn't the one we're looking at right now, is not Hard War?
No, we're looking at you were looking at Mac Attack. So
sorry, because you had a link and I went to the wrong thing. I went to the hardware link. And the hardware one's pretty cool too. And I just wanted to call out that in the hardware one, they have all the different groups, the African Federation and the Consortium Security Squadron. But I do like the fact that there's one called the Chinese Democracy Detachment. So nice Guns N' Roses shout out there.
What's kind of great about Hard War is that you can get the minis with it. Right. And you can be all set to play and to move and to go ahead, buy as many factions as you want, and be set to go without having to assemble.
And it looks like they're already painted too.
I'm not sure they come that way. I think
it's
you
hard
may have
to tell
to paint
from
them.
The Kickstarter.
You may have to paint them. I think when we're looking,
you may get to paint them.
Right. Exactly. So I think Mac Attack, when you're looking at it, it comes with the book, but I don't know if the miniatures are up to you. So I think that may be something you do in that. So anyhow, so a lot of great options out there, though. I know a lot of folks are into BattleTech or other games. I really like the look of Mac Attack, and it looks like promise to be some simplistic rules. And I haven't downloaded the Quick Start yet, but I'm going to. One of my favorite games that's not a role-playing game, but for a tabletop war game beyond Warhammer, The Old World, but is the a game by Starling Badger Games called Tanks for the Apocalypse, which is just like a zine, right? You download it and you create your own set for it. But there's nothing like getting tanks or mechs out on a battle map and pounding your friends.
What's great about Tanks for the Apocalypse?
Well, Tanks for the Apocalypse, again, it's simplistic rules, easy to play. You can play in 2 hours and run different scenarios. Create your own tank, find out what every tank has like a benefit and a negative. It's a pretty fun little game, from the creation of your tank to rolling out there. But you're on your own in building the board for it, Jason. What the good thing about something like Hard War is that they give you all the stuff to go with it. And if you're doing something out of a zine, you're going to build everything yourself.
Yeah. But that's
I'll bring it by sometime, Jason. We'll play.
We should. That's the old school way. Build it yourself.
Right. So anyway, but I think these are great news out there. So I just want to review Mac Attack, which is on BackerKit. Take a look. Again, the quick start, I believe, is free right here. You can back it. 18 days left to go. Right. Hard War is on Kickstarter, and that's Chris Birch, I believe, and that's 3 days to go on Hard War. And then you have, of course, this game that's more of a board game, but Exoterra also fighting in mechs. So I guess it's the heyday of mechs.
All very set up and ready to go for you, though.
Yep.
Yeah. But I mean, with the zine one, I was just thinking for a second, I've been watching this British TV show from the 70s all about trains, model trains. And it's just about the BBC did like a 5-part series all about modeling trains. And the amount of from scratch that they do in this before they decide, they don't buy a set and just set it up. First, the guy goes to a real train station with his camera and measuring tape, and he's just spending the day walking around the train station, measuring the bricks, taking photos of the building, figuring out how to exactly, how do the mountains look from this direction. They get back and they start modeling all of it just completely from scratch, even to the point of when they make the trees, they don't buy trees at the store in this 1970s BBC thing. They take some wire, they string it onto a peg, they take a little hand drill and they put the wire and they put some, they take some actual twine, rip the twine up, stick it in between the wire, turn the thing around, turn it into a little tree, dip it in some stuff, paint it, do it. They spend like 10 minutes to make one tree.
Wow.
And it's all made from just household stuff. There's not a single thing that they had to go to a hobby store to buy. It was crazy.
Well, I'll tell you, Jason, when I was creating my own trees for Tanks for the Apocalypse, I went to the local hobby store and found some trees.
Yes.
And, and did it the old fashioned way. I found some trees.
The newfangled way, kid. You and your new buy the trees from the store.
Yeah, well, I think we all,
if you ripped it up and made the tree from hands.
If you're of a certain generation here in the United States, you definitely know someone, whether a father or a grandfather, who was into trains and had that big train set up in their basement where they were really into the detail that you were talking about, where it looked so realistic. From the towns that they built around it to the countryside. Both my father and my father-in-law both built kind of big train sets in their basements at one time or another.
Well, wouldn't it be fun to mix up the mecha game with the very hyper-realistic small-town train set?
So, absolutely.
If you're going to go to battle, do it in Mechanicsville or something.
Well, I've totally been thinking of taking this zine from Snarling Badger Games, the Tanks for the Apocalypse, and turning it into a mech game. Yeah. But I've been thinking about it.
Nice.
Yeah, I think it'd be fun.
Very cool. And Peter says next year he hopes to have more mecha, which we have a game that's about ready to come out called More Blood, which is a skirmish game on a character to character level. So I'd love it if we went with more mecha.
Oh, more mecha. I play more mecha.
Yeah, so all the games are going to be more something. All right. Third story. Here we go. I like this one. D&D's October product has been revealed to be a Stranger Things tie-in. This is one where I really wish I could share the images, so I'm going to do my best to describe them. This is going to be a box set actually coming out October 7th. Good price, $49.95. When you see everything, or when you hear everything you can get in it, you'll agree, I think. So what they've done, this is to coincide with the 5th and final season of Stranger Things. Dungeons & Dragons are teaming up with Stranger Things for a new campaign called Welcome to the Hellfire Club. So it's all around Eddie Munson. And the players actually join to play Eddie Munson's legendary unfinished adventure. They're going to be facing demogorgons and sinister mysteries. It includes 4 adventures for different levels. And it puts you in the middle of a Hellfire Club game gone wrong with one of Eddie's campaigns that he left unfinished. Aside from offering up the physical book and a digital version of D&D Beyond, they're also making an ultimate bundle with a ton of accessories. So I'm going to go into the contents that you get with this big bundle here. I don't think this is the $50 one. Maybe it is.
I looked through it and it looks pretty amazing. If you want to give someone a complete experience to start out playing Dungeons and Dragons, I mean, a little more expensive than those starter bundles, but looks like a really nice set to start with.
Yeah, they did that a couple years ago. They had that Stranger Things starter kit that was sort of meant to look like a Mentor Red box, but it was kind of lukewarm. They didn't really lean in all the way to the experience. This time they have. So you get a custom Dungeon Master screen with really beautiful art, very old school. Double-sided Hellfire Club poster, 91 cards for spells, magic items, and monsters, 72 tokens for player characters and monsters.
That's great.
2 double-sided poster maps. So they went with color maps. They didn't go fully old school here. 15 character sheets. And I've seen the character sheets. They look a lot like the old Goldenrod first edition AD&D player character sheets. And they're not a copy of them, but they're definitely evocative of that.
Right.
4 player handouts. I'm halfway through this thing. 4 player handouts, a combat tracker notepad, set of 11 dice, a quick start guide, a play guide booklet, and then it says 4 adventure booklets. Now, here's where I'm a little confused, because I've seen pictures of some of the things, and there are a set of adventure booklets in here that I think, if I'm right about what I'm seeing, they have actually created a bunch of adventures that look just like TSR era AD&D modules. So they're calling them adventure booklets, but they look like modules to me. I see one called The Vanishing Gnome. There's another one here, Devil Metal Die, Dream of the Crop. And there's a 4th one I can't see. But the thing is, I don't know if you've seen the pictures of these, but the idea of Wizards coming out with a actual adventure module that looks like the old ones.
Yeah, it looks like the old one. I saw the 2 covers, right?
It really hits the nostalgia button, doesn't it?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
Because it's nice because on them they've got like his initials EM, like they're written on there with a Sharpie. All those little touches. It's the adventure module is pre-distressed a little bit. It's nice because if you've gone to any game convention where they're selling a lot of old school D&D adventures, all these third-party publishers try to make their modules look like the old TSR modules,
right,
with varying degrees of success. Some of them pretty close. Some of them you would actually have to take a second look to realize it wasn't. A lot of them are pretty obvious. They're just bad. But anyways, different levels. But to see what it would look like when professional designers get their hands on it and really try to do it just the way that they were before, yeah, it's neat.
Yeah, it's absolutely. Really.
So, I mean, do you watch Stranger Things?
It's been so long. Yeah. So when it came out, I did watch it, but how long's it been now?
I have no idea. I've never seen it.
I mean, it's season 1. If you haven't watched it, it's kind of a cultural phenomenon thing. I'd watch it.
I watched the first episode of the first season. Somebody told me it was going to have lots of scary stuff, and I thought, I'm scared. I don't want to see it, which is a bummer.
Yeah, it does. The first season is pretty scary.
Yeah. So I'm maybe if I sit up with a flashlight or something, I can make my way through it, because I know I would love to. I'm sure there's a ton of stuff I would love in this. But just to get some of the cultural references that people are saying would be nice. So,
right.
And so honestly, I might just watch it so I can enjoy this box set.
Sure. I think it's worth it. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think don't they have another starter set that they're gonna be coming out with as well? Isn't it something around Keep of the Borderlands, like Heroes of the Borderlands?
I think you're right, and I'm not sure exactly what it is. I mean, Keep on the Borderlands got was it a Troll Lords re-release or something?
Yeah, I think this one's called Heroes.
Okay.
Heroes on the Borderlands, and I think it's going to get a similar treatment as Stranger Things.
Yeah, it would be neat to see. I'm pretty sure it's Troll. If it's not Troll Lords, no, Goodman Games. Either Troll Lords or Goodman Games has been working with Wizards to put out classic D&D adventures as 5th edition updates. The trouble is they're all books. They're just like when Wizards puts out a adventure module or whatever you want to call it now. They put out a whole book. It's like $50 and it's a couple hundred pages. And I wish they would start selling modules again, something you could pick up for 20
just one or the
40
other
pages, and just let me flip through it. Don't make me read. I don't want to have the shelf space for all of that, you know?
Yeah, so I guess they're having with Heroes on the Borderlands, which is also going to be coming out as a starter set. With similar kind of pricing of it. I guess it's going to have 3 adventures, but I don't know if they're going to be packaged the way they are for Stranger Things. I guess we'll have to see.
Yeah, all I'm appealing to the world for is, folks, please, whoever's out there, Pathfinder or Dungeons and Dragons or the Daggerheart folks, just make affordable not missions. That's a top secret. Make affordable modules that are just 50 pages, 40 pages with a soft cover, and just let me have fun with it. Don't make me buy giant books.
The big campaign books, right?
Yeah, sure. I don't want to run a whole campaign. I want to run an adventure.
Right.
Please. Maybe that's something you can do with Stranger Things. So
maybe it looks great though. It looks like a great product.
All right, moving on to this next one, Warhammer: The Old World RPG. So Cubicle 7 has produced Warhammer: The Old World RPG. This one is set
200 years.
200 years, not 100. I was wrong. 200 years before the events of it. And it's mind-boggling the number of different ways you can buy this. I was trying to understand just looking at their website, and there is a Super Backer Collector's Bundle that is 290 euros. I'm looking at them in euros. I don't know why. That's what it's showing.
Yeah, and these are all pre-orders. I believe the physical copies come out the first quarter of 2026. But if you buy now any of these, I believe you get the PDF right away.
Yeah. Oh, here we go. I see them in dollars. It's written up above. So it will be $335 for the Super Backer Collector's Bundle if you wait, or $294 if you buy it in advance.
Wow.
And then there's a smaller Super Backer bundle that's not collectors. There's a Game Master bundle that's about $175. Priest player bundle, Wizard player bundle, Warrior player bundle. You can just get the Player's Guide. You can get the Collector's Edition of the Player's Guide. There are Miracle and Reference card packs. There's just I
plenty
would
of
run
options,
out of time
right?
trying to read everything that they're going to be offering for this.
Yeah, well, it looks, it's interesting because Cubicle 7 already puts out Warhammer Fantasy role-playing game, and now this is another role-playing game.
Yeah.
Warhammer Fantasy is a D100 system, and
this is not.
Warhammer The Old World is not. This is a D10 dice pool system.
So do you know kind of where the differences are mechanically there? Because I don't.
Not in depth. I probably will end up getting it because some of my friends are interested in playing it. But from what I understand, as a dice pool system, it's classic Warhammer. You're going to pick your occupation or your background, whatever it is, rat catcher or whatever you happen to be. And then that'll determine the type of skills and things you have. And it's you're going to have a number, a target number that you have to roll under. It's going to be a roll under system with those D10s, and whatever your, I guess, characteristic or attribute is, you roll that many dice. So if you had a 4, you'd roll 4 dice and try to get under whatever that other number is. Since I haven't read the rules,
Yeah.
I just know what I know. And so, very different from the D100 system with the other Warhammer game. And from what I understand, they're going to continue to support both the Warhammer Fantasy Role-Play game and the Warhammer The Old World. And so we'll see. I mean, I've read a little bit about it and seen some of the mechanics. It looks interesting.
Well, we'll see what they continue to support, because
right.
With anything like this, you get well, actually, hold on, help me understand now. So where's the relationship between Games Workshop and Cubicle 7 here?
I think it's, they Cubicle 7 is the one with the license or whatever, or has been contracted by Games Workshop to handle the role-playing game. So I don't know the business relationship, but so Cubicle 7 is the producer of it.
But Warhammer Fantasy, that one, is that Games Workshop?
It is Games Workshop, but it's Cubicle 7 as well.
Okay, so they're actually competing with themselves on this.
Right.
Yeah. Well, and that's the other thing. I mean, I don't know how it goes with Cubicle 7, but Games Workshop has they have a tendency to abandon their lines. They did that with Blood Bowl for a long time. As
someone who's someone who likes to play Warhammer The Old World, the tabletop miniatures game, right? The battle game. They abandoned that for a long time and only came back to it 2 years ago in re-supporting Warhammer The Old World. So for tabletop skirmish game or armies game. So so a lot of people were a little upset about that.
Yeah. But didn't they do the same thing with Space Hulk? They sort of just abandoned that one. I mean, Space Hulk was really fun.
Yeah. Well, they're doing well with their with the Warhammer The Old World. The Fantasy Battles game is doing incredibly well and selling a lot of miniatures. And of course, Blood Bowl is alive and well.
Yeah, no, I'm glad they brought it back. I like one of the older versions a little bit more aesthetically, but they're all great. It's incredibly fun. I wish I could find more Blood Bowl players around here.
All right. Well, I've got my gnome team, which isn't super powerful, but I
think I might have like a Nurgle's team somewhere. I don't remember. It's been a while. So
but anyway, so hey, I've always enjoyed the Empire and playing in the Warhammer world. Back in the day, when you were playing, when it came out originally, Warhammer Fantasy, I mean, it was totally different than D&D, right?
Yeah. How?
Just the world, the grimdark. I mean, maybe Warhammer was the first grimdark role.
That's actually that tracks. Yeah.
And so my friends and I in the what was that, the very late 80s when it came out, we had a lot of fun with that game. That was, again, something different and a different way of building your characters, not just fighter, thief, wizard. So a little bit different. So always nice to have some choices out there on what you can play.
Well, it's good. I can't wait to see it.
But anyway, you can go now, and if you get it, you can read the PDF. I guess I'll have to do that.
I think you've got the last story of the day here.
Yeah, and so the last story of the day is about Against the Star Master. For those who know, Against the Dark Master was a game produced by Open Ended Games. And for those who remember MERP and Rollmaster, it's kind of modernization of MERP and Rollmaster for Against the Dark Master. Well, the crew at Open Ended Games is now actively playtesting Against the Star Master. There's no quick start available yet or anything else, but if you go to their Discord, I'm sure you can find yourself in a game of Against the Star Master. And I had the opportunity to play in a play test, and not under an NDA or anything, but
Right.
it's what they've done is kept what we love about something like Against, and it's a space opera, folks. Against the Star Master is a space opera type of game with a big bad in space who's trying to get you all. And the game keeps what we love about Against the Dark Master, which are attack tables and critical hit tables.
We'd love a good critical hit table.
A good critical hit table. So they stay in Against the Star Master, where what they've done is look to kind of emulate what does a space opera look like, and so they've simplified some of the phase combat a little bit. And really adapted it to what are probably going to be phaser fire or laser fire, whatever's going on in there. And that's been pretty interesting. And
so I've heard that this has a kind of a real heavy metal vibe to it.
It sure does. Yeah.
How does that play out?
Well, your passions and motivations in the game are rewarded with a currency, and it's whether drive points in Against the Dark Master and probably star points in Against the Star Master. And when you play into your passions, your motivations, your allegiance, then you earn that kind of meta currency.
Oh, nice.
So, it's a game that rewards role playing. It's a game that rewards kind of a creative thinking. And continuing to adapt those motivations and allegiances, as well as nature. What kind of person are you?
So this is a D100 system.
It is, and their OpenOO game engine all revolves around the idea of that you have exploding dice in the game.
Yeah.
So you're rolling a D100. You're adding whatever that.
Where does it explode? It doesn't have to be 100 to explode.
No, it has to be. Let me see if I'm getting this right. 96, 97, 98, 99, and 100 explode, and then it also explodes downward as well. So 1 to 5 will also explode in the other direction. So. Which that can lead to some, outstanding results. I mean, you want to add your dice together, and if you get a 75 or better, you get a partial success. If you get 100 or better, you get a complete success. And if you're over, I think, 150, 175, you get an outstanding success. So that's kind of how that.
So you're rolling how many dice in this then?
You're rolling D100.
But you said multiple D100s.
Well, no, you're rolling 1 D100. You're rolling 2 D10, right? The classic way of rolling D, and then seeing if you have an open-ended roll, then explodes. You roll again, and you add to the result. So,
but it's not a percentile system.
Not well. It's a D100 system, but
right. I guess what I'm looking at here is if they have like success thresholds where you're saying you have partial successes and failures, and a percentile system like the old Top Secret where you just say what's my chance of success, and you roll your percentage chance of success end of.
Yeah, a little bit different, right?
Yeah. Which is interesting because so. You host the Analytic Dice podcast. You talk a lot about mechanics.
We do.
And I'm always interested in what makes some mechanics more popular than others. The percentile system seems like the most natural and obvious one to me, because what's my percentage chance? I roll my D100 and see if I get it. But for some reason, it seems to get a bit of stick. People don't all like a percentile system. Why do you think that is?
I don't know. And when it comes down to it, everything, every game is a percentile system, right? You have a 20-sided die. Well, it's still off of 100, right? Every click on that die is a 5% chance. Right. So I don't know. People just like different. I think that, depending on the system, you have a D100 system, a D20 system, all of those single die systems, when you're
Mhm.
rolling a single die, a D20 or a D100, they're swingy as heck,
Yes.
right?
Yeah.
And so a lot of people, I don't know now, kind of look for more of, you're rolling 2D20 or 2D12 or 3D6
It smooths
because
out the curve.
it smooths out that the results table for
Mhm.
sure. So I think, and even dice pools, right, where you're, let's say you're, a dice pool and you're playing a game where you always have to get an 8 or under or an 8 or better, right? Depending on the dice you're rolling, it's pretty consistent. You score successes and you need one success to succeed, and maybe you use additional successes to do
Well,
other
yeah, I
things.
love a
So,
good
yeah,
success-based system.
yeah.
So the one that I mentioned, More Blood, before, that Peter's writing. So Peter uses a system called Razor that he created, where the fun thing is you can play with any dice you have. It doesn't really matter, because all you're trying to do is each die is either going to be a success or a failure. So you can call them evens, odds, or you can
Right.
have whatever you want, right? Or you can just have a bunch of dice with pluses and minuses on them. But it's so easy to do when you just look at your die pool. You just take the failures and the successes, pull them apart, count them
Yeah.
up, and there you go.
Right.
I mean, technically, there's still a percentile in there somewhere, but it's
Right.
a lot more obfuscated.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's a lot of systems tend towards that, away from some of these systems that, again, your predictability of your result is a little more uncertain.
Mhm.
But some great narratives come out of that, right?
Yeah, exactly. That's
Successes and
kind of the
failures.
point.
So, yeah,
The best narratives come out of the least predictability.
right.
You know? So wrapping, going back to the Star against the Star Master here, I was just looking at a few other things about it. They
Right.
have so it's like you said, it's very space opera,
Space opera.
not
That's right.
sci-fi, space opera, because they have
Right.
some of the kin, which they use instead of saying races, which I think is a good way to say it. Kin is fun. They have dwarves, they have star elves, stone trolls, something called fearbs. I don't know what a fearb is.
Oh, well, not in against the Star Master. I'm not sure what they're going to have for races. To be honest, I don't know.
I was watching some video of somebody else looking at it, so maybe that's just there was
I'm actually not sure. I'm not sure what they're going to have. To be honest with you, I haven't seen them really describe a lot of. I know that you're going to have the ability to be a robot.
That's good.
You're going to have some kind of intelligent, non-organic life form. You're going to have the ability
Maybe a
to
super
be,
intelligent shade of the color blue.
then maybe, right? You're going to be able to be human, of course, and then I know they have at least one other alien race that or kin, sorry, alien kin that they're proposing. So, we'll see. I know that hopefully within the next 6 months or so, we'll all get a chance to look at a quick start guide and start playing and providing more feedback. Right now, though, again, folks, if you're interested in Against the Dark Master and this kind of revised space opera version Against the Star Master, reach out to the folks at Open Ended Games, and I'm sure that you can get yourself into a playtest to check it out.
Very cool. Very cool. Well, so that's all the stories we have for tonight. Kevin, thank you for being my co-host and making sure I wasn't alone.
Well, thanks for having me. Always appreciate the invite.
Where are some places that people can find you these days?
Well, they can find me these days on Blue Sky, at Salt Hard RPG on Blue Sky. That's where I tend to be. And otherwise, we have our Analytic Dice podcast with drops on whatever streaming service you use, audio streaming service, on the first of the month, every month. So,
and I'll be coming over to talk with you guys soon over there. That'll be
that's
fun.
right. That's right.
That'll be fun. And so if you're listening and you want to check that out, Analytic Dice. And the funny thing was, I was listening to the show for a while before I realized that was you doing it. I guess I just didn't connect the two things. And I was at one point going to tell you, hey, there's a really cool show you might like, Analytic Dice.
Yeah, it's a pretty good show.
Yeah. No, it's great. It's a lot of fun. And for us here at Tabletop Weekly, You can follow us on YouTube by subscribing. It's free and it helps us a whole lot if you do that. Like and subscribe. If you're listening on Apple Podcasts, please leave us a review. If you are on Facebook, we have finally started a Solarian Games group. So we just had a page before. Now we actually have a group where you can come and hang out and chat and do all of that. And we do have a Discord as well. All these things can be found from all the other places. We link it all back and forth. If you are a Patreon member, if you're a paying Patreon member, you can join us in the Discord after this for a after party. And if you're just a regular Patreon member, you can always just join the Discord in general, but you can't get into the after party unless you pay. And so we'll be over there in about 5 minutes. And thank you everybody for watching tonight.
All right. See you all soon.